Hello everybody and welcome to the Front Row Racing F1 2016 World Championship Car Selection Live. Now for anyone watching this, you may be wondering, hang on a minute, Front Row Racing DP sat in a lobby all on his own. Yes, we're doing things a little bit differently to previous seasons when it comes to the car selections. As I mentioned, I am Front Row Racing DP and we've got Front Row Racing GP in the, well, it's not exactly a commentary booth tonight, is it, Steve? It's something a little bit different.
No, it's how do we explain it? Studio?
I suppose, or is it more like a spy shed? Because what we've got going on at the moment is, at about past, we're going to get cracking with the World Championship car selection, and we'll go through how we're going to do that. But at the moment, we've got Front Row Racing GP hosting a practice session for the World Championship drivers. And from what you've been telling me, Steve, there's a little bit of mind games going on in there.
Yes, I mean, we're going to obviously explain a little bit about what we've been doing over the last week with getting the information from the drivers, but people keep swapping and changing the cars that they're choosing in this particular lobby at the moment. People going for cars that you wouldn't expect them to be picking. You've got certain people picking the Manor that for a fact I know he doesn't like it. So nobody wants to give away what sort of car they want to be driving for this next season that's coming up.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to go through a couple of the processes. Obviously, this is the World Championship car selection. So what we'll do is we'll go through each of the teams and we'll give them the opportunity to give us a bit of information of who they are, their car selections, what car they're going to end up for the following season in the World Championship. I'll go through the process of that at the moment. I just want to quickly touch on, for the World Championship for Season 7, the lobby settings. Most of them are shown on the screen here, but I'll go through them anyway. There won't be a practice session for league racers. Qualifying will be a short qualifying session. Race distances 50%. Car performance set to equal. Formation laps will be on. That's mainly to benefit the broadcast team, but also if they can look pretty good as well. Safety car, that's a grey area at the moment. That needs a little more testing as to whether that is going to be on or not. We want it on, but if it's faulty, it'll have to be off. Collisions will be on. Vehicle damage will be on full, not simulation. Because we would like as many drivers to get to the end of races as possible. Weather will be dynamic. AI difficulty will be on very easy, and hopefully AIs will be ghosted soon. That has been a big topic of discussion. Part Ferme rules are on. Even if they're accidentally set off, they'll be on. And the corner cutting stringency will be set to strict. So that's basically the lobby settings for the World Championship for Season 7. For the team's car selection, basically the way it's worked in Front Row Racing is car selection and who gets to pick first, second, third, fourth, all the way through the order is done on the previous season's constructors standings. So the team that finishes first in the constructors gets to pick first this for the next season, second pick second, third, and so on. If a team splits up to form a new team, then say for example a team that finished third in the standings, they split to form two new teams, then both of those drivers will effectively get to pick third and fourth. So whichever one within that team has the higher driver points, they'll get to pick third, their former teammate will get to pick fourth, and then the team that finished fourth in the standings would get to pick fifth, and so on. So that's how it's worked out. Meaning that for Season 7 there have been a few new teams formed. Some teams have stayed together, some teams aren't racing for Season 7, so the team's order of selection is quite an interesting one, and any completely new teams they will get to pick after all of the other teams have picked. But we have got a set order of which teams will get to pick, and we'll go through those at the relevant times. Now what I'm going to do here is I will highlight the teams that the drivers, the teams pick, so everybody knows what cars they will be choosing for Season 7, while Steve is hosting this practice session where everyone's being a little bit coy about what car they're driving at the moment. What we'll do is we'll invite all of the drivers in for a chat with their team, and each team will have around about 5 minutes, which I'm going to have to set a bit of a timer on. So when we hear this noise, that basically means they've talked enough, it's time for the next team to come in. Now one of the things that Steve's going to do is Steve is obviously in the practice session, so he's going to be able to sort of send a message to the drivers, pre-warning them, get ready, you're about to get an invite into the chat party, so that we can have a little bit of a talk with them. I'm just wondering if we, let's see, if we go through the team pairings and their order of choice straight away. I will actually. The first team to get to choose their car will be Jamie James and Over Dykink. Then it'll be Temp Fear and Stocky, Dan Evs and Mr Hamilton 44, Bartman 2112 and Hammer Time, who is formerly known as It's Hammer Time 44. Then it'll be GT5 King and Mornay, then Killer Corkin and Duofin, and then K-Slay and RMS Maranello. And then we've got W Butler and Adam 4600, and then the final team to choose their car will be Tinahan, new driver this season, and F1 Roadrunner. I haven't mentioned their team names there because I'll let the drivers have the opportunity of introducing their own team names. But one thing I will say is, if anyone's watching the live stream and does have any questions that you would like us to put to any particular team, feel free to comment on the YouTube chat with your question and which team it is for. The quicker you can get those in, the more chance there is of us getting those questions out to each of the teams. Okay, Steve, I'm guessing you're about ready to send your drivers over to their practice session, which once you've done that, we can get ready to invite Jamie James and Over Dykink in as the first team to pick their car.
Well, the guys are as eager as ever, and the lobby was, I wouldn't say full, but we've got pretty much everyone was expecting. And they've gone through to the session already, and we've got a couple of cars on track. I have messaged Jamie James and Dom to say that they'll have a chat-in right coming soon, so I can send that when you are ready. Okay,
there was something that I was meant to mention, which I've just forgotten. Yes, that was it. One of the things that we did with all of the drivers, all of the teams, we have messaged the drivers asking for their team selection, basically an order of selection of cars, a sort of 1 to 5 or a 1 to 9, so we've got a bit of an idea of what cars the teams might pick, but at the same time the teams will be allowed to change their choice if they decide to do so at the time of picking their car. But anyway, yeah, Steve, I think it's time we invite Over Dykink and Jamie James into the chat party, and we shall crack on with the Front Row Racing F1 2016 Season 7 car selection for the teams. Now, John THFC has asked, when will World Series Reserves car selection be done? I would guess, John, that means that you've not seen on Facebook for the Front Row Racing World Championship Reserves and World Series Reserves. There was a post put out a few days ago where the drivers are free to arrange pairing up in teams and picking a car on a first come first served basis for the World Championship Reserves and the World Series Reserves. There will also be further information going out on Facebook about that in the next few days. Okay, but for today we will be focusing, as I said, on the World Championship car selection, so we'll wait for Jamie James and Over Dykink to join us.
We've got one of them at the moment in with us. We've got Over Dykink, so we're just waiting on Mr. Jamie James.
Okay, so as Steve said, Over Dykink is with us, so evening, Dom.
Evening, Dave.
Hope you're well.
Evening, Dom.
Yeah, mate, alright.
Good. Okay, so we'll just wait for Jamie James to join us before we start the timer. And as I mentioned, for any of the viewers, if you do have any questions that you would like to put to the drivers from any of the teams, get those questions in as quick as possible, because if we get down to the last few seconds of talking to the drivers and then you post the question, we may not be able to get to ask it to the drivers. Now, I'm guessing that Jamie James is still circulating the track. I suppose this is one of the downsides of F1 2016 not having a return to garage feature at the moment. You can't just hit a button and pop back to the pits. Although you could just press pause and then see if his car runs out of fuel when he finishes this.
Yeah, James in the box. I'm going out now.
Yeah, he's just coming back into the pits.
If anyone's wondering why we've done this, where the drivers are doing a practice session, it is so that they can go out on track. It's at Australia. They can go out on track and do some laps while they're waiting to be called in to give their car selection. If we'd have done it as a race, then basically they would have to retire from the race to be able to join us. Okay, Jamie James has now joined us. Are you well, James?
I'm not bad, Steve. How are you, Dave? Sorry. How are you? You sound so much alike.
Oh my days! Oh my days! I'm going to use my old age deafness and pretend I didn't hear that. Okay, we're going to crack on then. I'm going to start the timer, and so we'll crack on as quickly as we can. So we've got Jamie James 16 and Overdyking in the chat party with us. So first question, guys, what is your team name?
I'll let Dom do it.
What do you mean? Alright, I'll do it. Our team name is going to be GG Well Played for next season.
Is that because you like horses, or is it shortened for something?
Is it something with horses, Dom? Is it something related to horses? Is it not? Got to explain that one to me, Dave.
You've never heard of a GG?
No.
It's a horse.
Is it?
Yes. Okay. That one was straight. James knew it straight away because he just went, oh. Okay, yeah. So GG Well Played.
Must be an English thing.
Yeah, definitely must be.
I think it is.
Okay, so
Dom's from Yorkshire, so he should know what it is.
Oh dear. Okay, so GG Well Played, shortened for Good Game Well Played, I believe. So that'll be the team name for these two for next season. Last season it was Up the Line Scuderia Ferrari. So we'll go straight on to your car choice. We did ask all of the drivers to give us a number of car selections. We've got some bad news, guys. We've had some information. Your number one pick, it's not going to be allowed to be used.
Is it?
No, it causes the AI non-ghosting problem. That's what it is.
Well, got it then, innit? Yeah. So we can't take the Mercedes, James, then. So we're gonna have to pick another car.
I thought we were taking Red Bull.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Are you in a Red Bull? Are you in a Red Bull now with the practice session?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Was that a sneaky bit of mind games going on there?
Might have been.
Might have been.
Well, the thing is,
I thought we were going for the Red Bull.
Well, that leads me on to my next question. Do you remember what your number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks were of car? And if you can, let us know what they are, because then that'll let the guys know what your number 1 pick is.
Well, we'll go from 5, obviously. We discussed many cars before we made our final choice. So the Toro Rosso was on 5, which we discussed. Nice car, but yeah, not the final number 1 pick. We've got the Mercedes on 4, since it's the first car in the pit straight, so that'll be beneficial at pit stops. But decided against the Mercs. We had the McLarens on 3 because the McLaren has by far the best sound on the game.
It does not at all. I was fully against him on this pick, guys, but I'll let him have that one.
This is obviously a team that works well together.
You want to take the Renault, James? I think you should shut up.
Right, okay.
I'd rather have the bloody manner.
Okay, so your number 2 pick, what was that one?
The number 2 pick is the car that we're in, the Red Bull, the arguably the best looking car on the game, but also the worst sounding one. So we decided against the Red Bull. So our car for this season, yet again, we felt. Yeah. No.
We're going to have to take your first answer.
That's nailed on.
We had this season in the car that we had last season, and we felt that we couldn't quite leave it yet before we take a title. So we'll have another season in the Scuderia Ferrari.
So you do realise then that means if you don't take the title, you will not be allowed to have the Ferrari next season. They will not have you. Okay, so we can.
Maybe it'll be time for a change at that point, though.
It might be, yeah. Okay, so just to confirm then,
we'll find out next season.
Jamie James 16 and Overdyking will be in the Scuderia Ferrari as Team GG. Well played. Now we haven't got long left. Sorry, we haven't got long left with the time we've got allocated for each driver. We may go over a little bit. So pop on to another question. Jamie James, fantastic season last season, finishing, where was it? Was it third in the standings? What's your aim for season 7? And then same question to you, Overdyking.
Aim to get into the top 5. Only reason being, I'm not going to say top 3 because it's a very strong group this year. I've already
James, shut up, we're going for the title.
I've already placed my bet on who's going to win, but I'm going.
And it's going to be Overdyking.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot that. But yeah, no, top 5 for me, mate. So somewhere in the top 5, I'll be more than happy about in this group.
Okay, Overdyking, same question to you.
And to be fair, the same answer. I mean, this is my first season on the wheel.
Oh no! We're out of time.
Speak to Dom.
Sorry, Dom.
I tell you what. We'll let you answer that question. Go on, then. We'll let you answer that question.
No, obviously this is my first season on a wheel, so it's going to be a bit tougher than a previous season. So my aim is going to be top 5 as well.
Okay, interesting
Right,
call.
quick question.
Go on.
Quick question, though. This will be the last question, I think. So James said that he'd already put a bet on who he thinks is going to take the title. I want to know who he's put the bet on.
From seeing what he did last year in, I think it's 1 or 2 races, and the pace he's shown, I don't know if he's got hacks on or anything. I still think he has. But
No, I don't have hacks on now.
I'm going to say Mr. Hamilton 44.
Interesting. He is a good driver. Can he be consistent?
Well, yeah, I mean, that is going to be an interesting part of it. I'm kind of in a similar boat with James, though. It's like, he's one that he's one that's going to people are going to have to keep an eye on. So's Temp Fear, so's Overdyking. Oh, I don't know about that one.
Don't get me wrong. I think it'll be Temp Stocky. Myself, maybe Dom. Don't know yet. Not seen him yet properly. Who's else am I thinking of? Maranello, yeah, and Case. There's a whole bunch of them, and you can't really pick from any of them. I just think Miss Thompson seems to have an advantage somewhere, but I've not seen him properly through the whole season and what his first pace is like. So, like I said, I think it's a very open season issue. Definitely. Okay, well, unfortunately, our time is up now with you two guys. We're going to have to move on to the next team. So just confirm that again then. Jamie James 16 and Overdyking for GG. Well played. Scuderia Ferrari for the FRR Racing World Championship in Season 7. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with the season, and hopefully you can make it very interesting up there, up at the front, fighting for more victories. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. In a few moments' time, we will invite in Temp Fear and Stocky. They'll be the next 2 drivers in. Obviously, they now know the Ferrari is unavailable, and any of the teams that had previously picked the Ferrari as one of their top picks, unfortunately, that car is now taken. So for Temp Fear and Stocky then, it'll be interesting to see if they are going to stay with their initial car choice or whether they may change it around a little bit. And there is also the possibility that Temp Fear may not be able to join us for this chat. We'll find out in a few moments' time. But as I said, we can confirm that Jamie James and Overdyking will be racing in the Scuderia Ferrari under the team name of GG Well Played Racing.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Cheers, guys. See you in a bit. Good luck.
Okay, just to let you know that Temp Fear is still unavailable at the moment. He did say he would message me when he is available, so we may end up having to, if we want to talk to him, it may be later on, but we can get his teammate.
Okay, we'll get his teammate in then, so that'll be Stocky representing Temp Fear and himself. Oh, that's a quite a frightening prospect, that is. Stocky representing Temp Fear. This could go anyway. If anyone's watching has any questions for Temp Fear or Stocky, feel free to post them in now. An interesting car choice there by James and Dom. I mean, I think many of us expected them to go with a Ferrari again, but they were playing a little bit of mind games in the practice session, picking the Red Bull instead. But I also thought it was interesting what James said there as well, that for the next season, he might not want to drive the Ferrari. I mean, we have had it over the seasons where drivers have been in the same car 3 or 4 times, and they prefer not to be. But Stocky has now joined us, so welcome, Stocky. How are you this evening?
I'm all right, thank you. Yourself?
Good, very well. Well, actually, I'm not going into that. You may have heard, you may not have heard, Overdyke and Kanjami James have chosen the Ferrari as their first pick. Obviously, we've got an idea of what yours and Temp Fear's car selection was. However, we'll start off with, could you let us know what the team name will be for yourself and Temp Fear for Season 7?
It's Fearless Trailblazers.
Fearless Trailblazers? So,
Yes.
go on, explain that one. Where's that? What is that? Where did that come from?
I don't really know. We were trying to, at first we started trying to think of something that related to both of us, but that plan kind of went down the toilet. So then we tried to think of something that we both liked, and then here we are.
You could have
Fearless
gone.
Trailblazers.
Fair enough. You could have gone with Stop Fear.
Yeah, I did like Steve's temporary lag.
Yeah, I said
That was a good one.
I did suggest they should have the team name of Temporary Lag. Yeah, I did like that.
That would have been a good name. So, okay, so for Temp Fear and Stocky then for Season 7, their team name will be Fearless Trailblazers. Now, Stocky, can you remember
sorry,
what... Go
let
on.
me just, I'm just put in, I can just say that Temp Fear should be available. I'm just going to send him
I
another
have
invite.
suggested into the party.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
already sent him an invite, but he did say he would let me know when he was back. And I don't think he realised his teammate was still in the room
He was
talking
he
to
was
us.
talking when I left the party to join.
There we are. Sent him another one.
Okay, well, he is ready for an invite. So as we wait for Temp Fear to come in then, I'm just wondering, Stocky, do you remember what yours and Temp Fear's car selections were from 1 to 5 or from 5 to 1?
From 1 to 5, they were Mercedes, Mano, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren.
Okay, now Temp Fear has joined us, timely as ever, Temp Fear.
Hello. Can't trust the messenger, can I?
No, not at all. Okay, so you've said Stocky's just said there that Mercedes looks to be your first pick for Season 7. Is that the car that you are going to go for?
Yeah. As far as I know.
Okay, so explain the reasoning for going with a Mercedes then. Obviously, Temp Fear, you used it last season. I will just mention as well, Temp Fear is the current reigning FRR Racing World Championship champion as well. So is it because of you won in that car, it's the best car, or has the first spot in the pits?
You could say many reasons, but I don't know. I just like Mercedes.
Fair
And I
enough.
thought, it'll probably wind a few people up as well. Probably the people in the bike before if we do jump them in the pits. It has its benefits.
Okay, so just quickly then, so Temp Fear, Stocky, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and what your aims for
Go on,
Season
Pete.
7 are?
Hopes for Season 7?
Yeah.
Just a strong season. Hopefully no disconnections, but strong points every race will be good. At least really strong points.
Do you think the championship is a possibility?
Yeah, but there's a lot of ability in the league, and there's a lot of new people as well. So it'll be interesting.
There definitely. Who would you see as your direct rival?
Teammate.
Oh,
I knew that was going to be said.
fireworks in the garage straight away. Over to you then, Temp Fear. We'll ask you straight away. Who do you see as your direct rival?
Well, I think Steve's going to have to change who he calls number 1 and number 2.
Oh.
You have to change team here.
Okay, so Temp Fear, there, your aim for Season 7, it's got to be retain the title, hasn't it?
Nah, just to not come last.
Fair enough. That's less of a goal than you had at the start of last season.
Surprised everyone, didn't it?
Yeah.
Realistically though, yeah, it's going to have to be that. There's not really another target I can have. in all honesty. So, try and get constructors this season as well.
Okay, Steve, do you have a question for these guys?
Well, it's a question more for Temp, because obviously with him being the reigning champion, and I'm just wondering that at what point of the season would you feel that actually no, what I'm trying to ask is, would it be disappointing if you don't do as well as last season? You know, are you going to be annoyed that you've not got that same the points total as it, you know, because obviously last season you were scoring points race after race after race.
I think with last season though,
Oh no, sorry, time's up, we're going to have to cut you off there. Although Steve has asked the question, so we will let you answer it. Bit of mastermind going on there.
No, I'm going.
No, come on, if you're going to be late, turn it up, come on.
Last season I think it was a weird season with how many different people won and whatnot, and same thing can happen this season, but I do aim to score more points.
Okay, here's a question. Sorry,
and more wins.
Here's a quick question for the both of you. If you don't win the title, who do you think will?
What? And we can't choose each other?
You can choose whoever you like. If you yourself don't think, like, if you don't happen to win the title, who do you think will win it?
I'm choosing two. Either Stocky or... Actually, no, it's kind of three. Either Queso or Maranello as the other one.
Ooh. So going for two new drivers into the World Championship as potential title winners. What about yourself, Stocky?
Temple Jamie James.
Ooh, so Jamie James getting a little bit of support from the rival team of Mercedes.
Yeah, we're going to make sure he doesn't win it, though.
This is why I never trusted.
We're going to make sure he don't win it, though. So it's going to be all right.
Is it a case of, yeah, I'll be your teammate 10th here, but you're not winning the title?
He can win it if he beats me.
Ooh, I like this. Okay. I like this. We'll see how these two get on working together as a team.
Yeah, I'll kill him off.
We've already had ground rules.
Well, I was going to say one last question, and that is the constructors more important than your individual points, or is it both of you just focused on the title and the championship constructors points just come secondary?
It's probably the second, because we've both got the title, we're both going to score points, so constructors is there. If we're 1-2 in the drivers, it's one in the constructors, isn't it? Really? Even if we're 1-3, still guaranteed first over all the constructors. So
that it is. Okay. Yep. Okay, we'll bring this to an end. So, any final comments from you two?
Nah, you just want to get rid of me now, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We want to get the next team in and find out what car they're going to pick.
Where's the kick button?
Where's the kick button?
Me and you
hold down PS button and enter rest mode.
Steve, you need to be careful. Be serious.
Right, okay.
Steve, just hold the PS button and enter rest mode.
No, don't do that. Okay, just to confirm then, Tempfear, the reigning World Championship champion, and Stocky, they will be racing in the Mercedes as Fearless Trailblazers, and we'll see in Season 7 if they are Fearless Trailblazers or not. A good inter-team rivalry and potentially a fantastic rivalry on the cars there in the constructors' standings as well. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us here. We would like to give each team more time, but if we do, we'll be here until midnight, and you know how I like to waffle. So thank you very much for joining us. Good luck for the season, and good luck in the practice getting ready for round 1 in Australia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Cheers, guys. Okay, the next team to be invited in will be Danevs 85 and Mr. Hamilton 44. This is going to be a new team pairing from last season. I was trying to think who Danevs' teammate last season was actually Tempfear. So Tempfear and Danevs have split teams. And Danevs is now going to be paired with the new driver, Mr. Hamilton 44, a driver that came in for at least one World Championship reserve race last season at Abu Dhabi and put on an excellent show. Pole and the victory there, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see how these two get on in the following season. And again, if anyone has any questions they want to ask to these drivers, feel free to comment on the YouTube chat. So just to reconfirm then that Tempfear and Stocky will be racing in Season 7 as Fearless Trailblazers in the Mercedes. So as we wait then for the next couple of guys to come in. Now, Steve, obviously you're in a practice session there while the drivers are waiting to be invited in. I was just wondering if you fancy giving us some information on lap times the drivers are putting in around the Australia circuit at the moment. Like, who's up at the top?
I don't know, I've not been looking.
Well, when you send the invites, have a quick look.
We may be, just to let you know, we may be without Dan Evs here for this one, but yeah,
okay.
I've not actually been on the game screen because I get the engine noise coming through my headset at the same time. It makes it difficult to hear the guys talking, so that's why.
No problem. Okay, so the two teams already selected then is the Scuderia Ferrari and the Mercedes AMG. So for any of the drivers that in the rest of the teams that were hoping to get hold of those cars, unfortunately they have gone. So as we wait then for Mr. Hamilton 44 and Dan Evs, Mr. Hamilton 44 has just joined us, but it sounded like Steve was going to say something. What was you going to say, Steve?
I was just going to say, I'm looking at the timing screen and we've got F1 Roadrunner up there with the fastest time at the moment, set on the soft tyres, followed by Hammer Time, and then Mr. Hamilton, then Stocky, Jamie James, Casey Drew, Tebbs, Tempfear, and then Overdyking without a time.
Okay, so Mr. Hamilton 44 has joined us in the little studio here. Mads, how are you this evening? Mads, are you with us?
Yeah, there's a button on your microphone that says mute, and you might need to press it.
This is what you go.
I have done.
So, was the mute button on?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, anyway, Mr. Hamilton 44, how are you this evening?
I'm fine.
Good. Obviously, you're paired up this season with Dan Evs, who I think is unavailable at this time. But obviously, for yourself, Front Row Racing World Championship Season 7 on F1 2016 will be your first full season in Front Row Racing. Now, I'm not sure how much information you and Dan may have shared, so if you would like to, if you can remember what the team name is, let us know what your team name will be for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I think we agreed on Danish Dragons.
That is what we've got. So for Dan Evs and Mr. Hamilton 44, it will be Danish Dragons, and that is because Mr. Hamilton 44 is from Wales and Dan Evs is from Denmark. Okay, it might be
correct.
Correct. Okay, it is actually the other way around. Okay, Mr. Hamilton 44, I don't know if you know already, but Jamie James and Overdyking, they have picked the Scuderia Ferrari. That car has gone. Tempfear and Stocky, they have picked the Mercedes, so that car has gone. Now, I believe that yours and Dan's first choice car was the Mercedes, so unfortunately you're not going to be able to have that, but have you got there what your second choice car was?
Yeah, our second choice was the Red Bull.
That matches what we've got, so at least we know our communications are working right at the moment. So the Red Bull then. So for Dan Evs and Mr. Hamilton 44 then, as Danish Dragons will be racing in the Red Bull, was there any particular reason why that car was chosen?
I don't think so. It's a good looking car, but that's pretty much it.
At this point, and just don't forget that, Mads, you are able to pick a different car if you want to.
Yeah, that
is true. You don't have to have the Red Bull. So if you want something different other than the Mercedes and the Ferrari,
although you would have to wonder,
it now.
Would have to wonder, will he get told off by Dan Evs if he does?
But I think we'll go with the Red Bull.
Okay.
Okay, so for Dan Evans and Mr. Hamilton 44, then Danish Dragons Red Bull Racing for Season 7 in the Front Row Racing World Championship. Okay, now Mr. Hamilton 44, obviously we're not going to be able to ask you too much about Dan Evans, but your name has cropped up a couple of times already from the GG Well Played team of Jamie James and Overdyking and the team of Fearless Trailblazers, Temp Fear and Stocky. Your name has popped up a couple of times as someone that's there that could potentially win races and a potential title contender. So, what is your aim for the upcoming season?
Well, hopefully no disconnections. If I can avoid that, I'll go for some race wins and maybe the championship.
Can you tell he's Danish? He's full of confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so race wins in the championship. He said it himself, that's his aim. So if that's the case, who do you see as your direct rival? Is it Temp Fear, the reigning champion, or is there somebody else in the that's going to be taken to the grid that you've perhaps got an eye on?
Not really. It depends on how much practice they can put in.
That is
I think that will be a key factor.
That is very, very true. Okay, if you're not able to win the title, who do you think will win it?
Well, obviously, Temfi. He's the reigning champion.
Simple and to the point. I like it. Okay, Steve, I'll hand over to you. Any questions for the maddest driver on the grid? That's not offence.
Because he's got Dan Evans as a teammate.
Well, yeah. You do have to be a little bit mad to have Dan Evans as a teammate. Dad, don't take offence. But I must admit, you do have the best name of anyone I think I've ever heard, to be honest. So yeah, Steve, over to you.
Yeah, my question is, how do you feel that you and Dan Evans will work as teammates, or will you not work as teammates and you're just both going to go your own way?
Well, we agreed to do setup work together, so hopefully that plan will work out.
Don't forget to send me your setups as well.
There'll be a lot
You'll
of
have
people.
to pay for that.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people interested. Oh, we've got to the end of the time, but I started my question, so I will finish.
Okay.
There will be quite a few people that will be interested in setups, and it'll be interesting to see who perhaps shows their setups, perhaps on live streams, and who keeps them very, very secretive. Okay, Steve, any more questions for Mr. Hamilton 44 here?
I don't have any myself. I'm just checking the YouTube. Bear with me.
Well, while you're doing that, there is one
on there at the moment.
Okay, there's one thing that I will ask. Obviously, Mr. Hamilton 44, you've shown yourself as being a very quick driver. Do you think you can back up that speed with looking after your tyres?
Say that again.
You've shown yourself to be a very quick driver, but do you think being quick you'll still be able to look after tyres, or by being quick is it going to hurt your tyres?
I think I might have to take a different approach because the tyre wear is quite high in this game. But I'll do my best with setup and try to be conservative on my tyres.
Well, I hope you have an excellent season. Obviously, you are new to the World Championship for Season 7. A few guys have already got their eyes on you to see how you're going to get on. They're either going they're either going to become fans, or they're going to end up becoming rivals because you're perhaps beating them or being a nuisance to them and taking points off them.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We will see. Either way, hope you have a fantastic season. Good luck, and we'll confirm then that Dan Evs 85 and Mr. Hamilton 44 will be taken to the track as the Danish Dragons in the Red Bull for Season 7. So, Mads, thank you very much for joining us. You are now free to get back to Australia and see if you can go and set some fantastic lap times. So, good luck, and we'll see how you get on for the following season.
Thank you.
Cheers, Mads. Okay, the next team up will be Bartman 2112 and Hammer Time. I think he's changed his name to now. Unfortunately, Bartman 2112 has moved house recently and hasn't got internet at the moment, so he's not going to be able to join us for this particular live show. However, his teammate will, and I think this might actually be the first time I've actually spoken to him by voice, so this could be quite interesting. So we've got Bartman 2112 and formerly known artist It's Hammer Time 44, who will get to pick their car next. The Scuderia Ferrari, the Mercedes and the Red Bull have already been taken. So in a few moments time we will find out what their team name will be and what their car selection will be as well. Now, a couple of people have mentioned at the moment that the Red Bull is a good looking car. Now, I must admit, when they first brought out their matte looking Red Bull, I wasn't a big fan, but you know what, I think it's grown on me. It does, like, especially at Singapore. It looked good at Singapore. Yeah, the flat matte does look pretty good. Okay.
Invites have gone out for the next two.
Okay, so as we wait then for Hammer Time to join us and have a little chat, Bartman and It's Hammer Time both competed in the World Championship last season. Let's see, where did Bartman finish? Bartman finished 7th on 94 points, and It's Hammer Time, he joined about halfway through the season and finished 9th on 68 points and did get a race victory in Suzuka. Okay, so I believe, Jimmy, you have just joined us, yes? Hello?
Someone else with a mute button on.
Have you got your mute on, Jimmy?
What do you say?
We heard that switch. It went from muted to unmuted pretty quickly. Hammer Time, how are you this evening?
I'm great. You?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to start off with, obviously, your teammate, Bartman. He's unable to join us this evening. But if you would, could you please let everybody know what the team name will be for yourself and Bartman for Season 7?
The Underdogs.
The Underdogs. Oh, no, I tell you what, Ant69 and Adam 4600 may have a copyright claim they can put in from last season, because I'm fairly sure they were called Underdogs last season. But you know what, we'll let you off for now. Okay, so you're going to be known as the Underdogs. Well, I'll let you off, whether Ant does or not, I don't know. You're going to be known as the Underdogs for next season. The Ferrari, the Mercedes, the Red Bull has already gone. Would you like to let us know what yours and Liam's top 5 picks were and which car you're going to be choosing for the following season?
So the top 5 was going to be Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren, Toro Rosso and Ferrari.
Okay, so Red Bull would have been the first pick. Unfortunately, that's gone. Mercedes, that's gone as well. So your third pick was McLaren. So at the moment, it looks like a McLaren you'll be in, unless you're going to take an executive decision and pick a different car. So would you like to let us know and confirm which car you'll be using for Season 7?
It'll be McLaren.
Sounded so full of confidence there.
Is it because you're disappointed you've not got one of the cars you really wanted?
Yeah, because we're going to choose Red Bull again, we are.
Because that's what you had last season.
Ah, that is true, yeah. I mean, you are a team pairing that were together last season, so it is a continued team. Unfortunately, the Red Bull has gone. You can blame Dan Evs and Mr. Hamilton for that one, but they'll only blame Tempfear and Stocky for picking the Mercedes, so it's going to be a never-ending blame story. Surprisingly,
Can I just say, it's all
go on.
Tempfear's fault, because that's what allowed Dan Evs to have the constructors' position.
Yeah, true. Okay, so the McLaren then will be the car for the underdogs. That'll be their team name, Bartman 2112 and Hammer Time for season 7. So now to fire some questions at you, Jimmy. I'm going to start off with, partway through last season, you joined the Front Row Racing World Championship and you managed to take a victory at Suzuka. And at that time, you were practicing on a wheel and you were told by your teammate, no, put it away, use the pad, and you went and won at Suzuka, which was a fantastic result. After that, you did go on to using the wheel. Are you sticking with it for the following season? And if yes, how do you think you'll get on? Or are you going back to using the good old thumb twitcher?
I'm going to disappoint you, but I'm going back to the pad.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, is that
No
to be? I am going to make comment on that, and it's nothing disrespectful. I'm just wondering if is that for an edge in competitiveness? You feel a bit more, you feel faster on the pad at the moment, and you want to make the most of being able to score points.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Okay. Well, if that's the reason, then what's your aim for the season coming up? What's your targets?
I'd say trying to finish in the top 8 because there's quite a lot of fast drivers that are going to score in strong points.
There definitely is. Do you think a race win is on the cards again?
I think it'll be difficult because there's such a strong competition this season. Yeah, strong competition, I think there will be.
Okay, so, I mean, I think it's going to be possible for near enough anyone to win a race this season with how close the competition could be. Okay, rivals. Who do you think will be your direct rival?
I think K-Slay and Almas Maranello.
Ooh, why them?
Because I'm not sure actually. So I think K-Slay's paper is quite strong, and so I don't really see Maranello's.
Okay, well, we'll see how you get on against those two and against everybody else. Steve, you got any questions you'd like to ask Jimmy or put to Jimmy?
Yeah, who is the #1 driver in the team? Is it yourself or is it Bartman? Or do you not have a number?
Bartman, because he finished higher up in the Drivers' Championship.
Oh, you know
And
what?
are you looking to reverse that for this season?
Yeah, I hope so.
I tell you what, Jimmy, right? I'd look at it a slightly different way. Yes, he finished above you in the drivers' standings last season, but you didn't get to race the first 9 races, and you only finished, 26 points behind him? Something like 24 points behind him? 34 points, maybe? 28 points, something like that. So, there goes the timer. So the gap between yourself and your teammate wasn't that big at the end of last season. So I think it'll be an interesting battle between you two in the season coming up.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Steve, any more questions to put to Jimmy?
No, I was just looking on YouTube. We don't have any questions on YouTube. Just want to remind everyone at this point while we're talking about YouTube, if you have any questions for the guys, put them on YouTube and we can ask them. It's not a problem to do that. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
so Jimmy, our time with yourself is just about up, so we'll reconfirm then that Bartman 2112 and it's Hammer Time 44 will be driving as the underdogs in the Red Bull for the World Championship Season 7. So a huge good luck to the both of you there. I think that's a very interesting team pairing, and it definitely was last season as well. Both drivers more than capable of getting a win. So Hammer Time, any final comments from yourself there that you'd like to leave us with a parting gift? No, obviously not much of a talker, but that's fine, it's no problem. We've got out of you the information that we wanted. So Jimmy, thank you very much for joining us with this quick chat. We'll let you get back to the practice at Australia, so good luck, and go and see if you can set some purple sectors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Okay, so the next team to join us then to pick their car will be GT5 King and Mornay 77. An interesting team pairing, those two. Two drivers that were in a different team last season. Two drivers were in different teams last season. GT5 King teamed up with Konzo 1993, and Mornay 77 was teamed up with Duofin. So this is a new team pairing for season 7. It'll be interesting to see what their car choices will be, and it'll be very interesting to see how they get on as a team for the following season. So as we wait then go on.
Just going to say, before we invite them in, we've had a question on YouTube that I'm going to ask you, and it's a question that somebody said. I think they're asking us rather than other drivers, but it says, why are you so surprised that everyone is saying K-Slate and RMS are going to be a threat?
Simple answer to that one. We're not surprised. We're not surprised at all. If it sounds like we're surprised, we're faking it. No, I mean, RMS Maranello, K-Slate, they are more than capable of winning races. I know that, but it's not a point of me saying, watch out for this guy, that guy, they're going to possibly win. I'm interested to know what the drivers, or who the drivers think are going to be capable of taking races, who they see as potential challengers. I have just seen that Mornay 77 has joined us. Good evening, Mornay. How are you? Good. And GT5 King has also joined us. Rehan, how are you this I was just going to say afternoon then. How are you this evening?
Very well, thank you, Dave.
It sounds like you just woke up. It's like, oh, yeah, very well, cheers.
How are you this morning?
Okay, so we will get going pretty much straight away with GT5 King and Mornay, as I said, a new team pairing for this season. Quick question to you: who was it who approached who to set yourselves up as a team for season 7?
Yeah.
So go on.
Yeah, sorry, just because I heard that Konzo couldn't race in the World Championship anymore because of work, so he's racing in World Series now. So I basically had to find another teammate, and I was basically asking it to anyone. Whoever
said yes.
Yes, then that's it. First come, first serve, and Money said yes first, and yeah, that's about it. Really, that's how it happened.
So, Mornay, how does it feel knowing you were just one in the massive pond of messages that Rian sent out to people, but you were the winner and you became his teammate?
Ooh. That's shots fired there.
Oh, yeah. Now, Mornay, you are quite quiet at the moment, so a bit difficult to hear. You may need to turn your microphone up a little bit, or put it a little bit closer to your mouth. Okay, going to go on to, obviously, you are a new team. So, what is going to be the team name for you two guys for this upcoming season?
It will be Team Banter. Bringing the name back.
I was going to say, I'm sure I've heard that name somewhere before.
It was similar. It was just Banter.
Was it?
It was similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you have the option to change it at this very late moment. Actually, I don't think you can now. Tough.
That's alright. Don't worry. It's all good.
Okay, so it's good for the... I'll get my words out. Team name for GT5 King and Mornay then will be Team Banter. We'll see if they are as funny as their name suggests. Mornay, just to confirm, a few of the people on YouTube are struggling to hear you a little bit. It's a little bit louder. Okay, I tell you what, Mornay, would you like to let everybody know what yours and Rian's car choices were from 1 to 5, and then we'll know if people can hear you or not.
Yep.
Okay, so a little bit of bad news then. The team that have just left the studio have been confirmed in the McLaren. So unfortunately, I was going to say, unfortunately for you, Rian, you can't have another season in the McLaren. However,
I'm sure I can negotiate something with them.
Oh no! Once this is done, it's done. Yep.
Just come in on this, Mornay. You might want to just go into party settings and make sure it's set to always allow, because I think you may still not be coming through on the broadcast. So where it says allow your voice to be shared, click on always allow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And while we do that, I will.
Just say people won't have heard what Mornay said there, but while he's just changing settings, I'll just read them back through there. There we are. He said McLaren was his first pick, then it was Williams, then Haas, then Renault, and then Force India. So yeah, carry on then, Dave.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the McLaren has been taken. So, Mornay, if you would like to confirm for us what your car choice is going to be for the Formula Racing World Championship in Season 7. And hopefully everybody heard that, and if they did, you can let us know. And Rian piped in there with a yeah. So it looks like it'll be Williams for you guys. You do have the option to pick one of the other cars if you like, but Ferrari, Mercedes have already gone, as well as the Red Bull and the McLaren. Danevs, unfortunately, you're about 5 minutes too late for your interview. No, 10 minutes too late for your interview, actually. So we may have to invite you back a little later on while we continue to deal with Rihan and Mornay here. Yeah, guys, so you do have the option to pick a different car if you wish, or are you going to confirm yourselves in the Williams?
Well, yeah, Williams sounds good. If you pick second choice Williams, then let's go for it.
Okay, so GT5 King 786 and Mornay 77 hashtag Team Banter will be racing in the Williams, and we're going to give you guys a little bit of extra time now because we had a few microphone problems there. So, Steve, any questions that you would like to put to these two drivers?
No, well, I'll ask you a question. Do you think you'll both be able to work together and help each other to improve on your positions that you finished in the drivers' standings last season?
Yeah, well, we haven't actually. This is our first season as teammates, and it will be. And I don't think we've actually raced with each other like online anyway, like getting our one square time. So. It will be an interesting experience, so it'll definitely be something new, but hopefully that we'll have a good season together.
A quick question for you, Mornay. I know over the last couple of seasons you have found it difficult at times to get some practice time in. Do you think you'll be able to perhaps improve for this season? I mean, in some of the test races we've seen so far, you've been looking fairly quick. Okay, well, hopefully, I hope to see you in the top 10 a lot more. Actually, I hope to see you challenging your new teammate, which is going to lead on to what I'm about to ask Rian. Rian, in previous seasons, you've had some that have gone up and then some have gone down a little bit. Last season was a kind of like I think you finished in the same position you did the previous season, 6th in the driver's standings. Do you think you can improve on that this coming season? Do you think there's more potential of podiums coming up?
Well, I hope so. But as you guys have talked about before in the stream, that we have some new strong drivers like RMS Maranello, Mr. Hamilton, they'll be quite competitive. So my main target always has been is to try and finish in the top 5. For as many races as I can. Yeah, that's about it, really, for that.
Well, hopefully you will be able to do that. and hopefully both of you will be able to have a fantastic season. We have gone over time a little bit there, so we are going to have to move on to the next team in a few moments' time. Well, at least now you know which cars you can jump in for your practice sessions and get them set up ready for Season 7. So, quick confirmation then. GT5 King 786 and Mornay 77 confirmed in the Williams as hashtag Team Banter. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully you will have good luck for the season, and we'll let you get back to the practice session and see if you can push those lap times a little bit quicker.
Yep.
See you guys.
Good luck, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, the next team to join us to pick their choice of car, and the cars that are available to them obviously is getting less and less now, but it'll be Killer Cork and JD and Duofin. And I've just realised I've not written something down on my screen here, but I can do that in a moment. So yeah, Killer Cork and JD and Duofin. Steve, have we got either of those available this evening?
There's a possibility of Killer Corkum, but we shall find out if he joins. It's going to be a matter of sending the invite, I think.
Yep.
He's online, but he's not in the test lobby that we're running at the moment.
Okay, now I have kind of spotted that a few people have been asking about WCR, WS car choices and stuff like that. Just to let everybody know, the WC and the WS is slightly different to the WCR and the WSR. With the WCR, the World Championship Reserves, and the did I say WSR, World Championship Reserves? The WCR, the World Championship Reserves, and the WSR, the World Series Reserves. For those, there have been posts put out on Facebook over the last week, and there will be another post going out in the next few days. For those, car selection is going to be done in a much simpler way. It's effectively first come, first served. The drivers will be free to pair up with any of the other World Series drivers or any of the other World Championship drivers, as long as they're not current World Championship drivers that'll be using it as a practice session until we fill it up. So yeah, you can pair yourselves up and pick a car on a first come first served basis, and that all that information is on the Facebook page. I mean, it is advisable to keep an eye on the Facebook page, because there has been a lot of information that we've been putting out on there, so it is always advisable to keep an eye on the Facebook page. Otherwise we end up in a situation like this where people say, what about this, what about that, and it's like, okay, we dealt with this a week ago, but obviously unfortunately people haven't seen it. Okay, so as we're waiting for Killer Cork, and then do we have any information, Steve?
Not at the moment. I'm literally just about to write what you were saying on YouTube as you were saying it, so I thought, okay, I won't write it because you've just said it. Yep. The invite has gone out to Killer Corkin, but he may be busy.
Okay,
so,
we may have to move on with this one then, potentially. Okay, we've set a 5-minute timer for ourselves, which we'll try and not use it. One of the reasons that we asked all of the teams to give us an order of car choice, sort of 1 to 5 or 1 to 9, and also let us know beforehand what their team name was for this kind of situation where neither of the drivers are available. So for Killer Corkin and Duofin, their team name for Season 7, Steve, is going to be...
I think this team name is probably going to be the most memorable team name in the World Championship. And the team name is Moving Chicane Racing.
See, I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
I still think the one I came up for would have been pretty good, though. See, I tend to like to sort of chop people's names up and put them together, so I came up with Duhokin. So it'd be like, Duhokin Racing. But yeah, so their team name is going to be Moving Chicane, which I kind of like that. At least it kind of shows a sense of humour from both of the guys. Would you like to take us through what their 1 to 5 car choices were, Steve?
Yep. I can say on their car choices, their first pick was the Mercedes, second pick was the Force India, third Red Bull, fourth Renault, the fifth choice was the McLaren. A lot of popular cars on there, but their second pick is the one that's not been chosen yet, and that was the Force India.
Yeah, so it looks like then Killer Corkin and Duofin will be racing in Season 7 in the Force India as Moving Chicane Racing. Now, they're an interesting team pairing. I know Killer Corkin, last season, he had a season of getting used to a wheel, and I think both of us would like to see him kind of make that step of improvement, a lot like Jamie James did. And Duofin, he's a guy who has had limited practice, but again, he's a person that looks after tyres, so he can sneak points anywhere, anytime they become available.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, Duofin, what can we say about his one-stops? I think this game now with the harder tyres, wow, we're going to see. I think we're going to see one stop at every race from Duofin.
Quite possibly. Now, just a bit of information on both of the drivers. Let's see, Killer Corkin, he was paired up with Jason last season in the Williams, so obviously this is a new team pairing. Now, Killer Corkin finished in 11th place, and Duofin, who was Mornay's teammate, as we know, he finished in 12th place last season. So these are two guys that are very sort of closely matched, and could find themselves on track near to each other quite a lot during Season 7. It'll be very, very interesting to see how both of these guys get on. I mean, for those drivers that do make that transition from pad to a wheel, it does tend to need about a season to allow that transition and getting used to it. And then it'll be nice to see how Killer Corkin really gets on this year. Okay, I think it's about time we move on to the next team, wouldn't you say, Steve?
I would say so. I didn't hear what your last thing was you said apart from that. Sorry.
So you weren't listening to it. That's fine.
I just went to the track. I just went to the track to have a look, see how the timing was going, see who was doing what. And Mr. Hamilton, 44, has just popped in the fastest time so far today. On the soft tyres.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why he's been getting a lot of people's attention. Okay, so the next team to join us then is a brand new team. Both drivers they will be taking their first permanent seats in the World Championship, and this is a team pairing which could trouble a lot of other teams out there. The team pairing of K-Slay 1 and RMS Maranello. Now, RMS Maranello, he had a few reserve drives in the World Championship last season, and he showed he's quick. And K-Slay 1, he did a couple of reserve drives in the World Series and then took a permanent drive in the World Series because there wasn't spaces available in the World Championship last season, and he's fully earned an opportunity to race in the World Championship. And he's a guy that on all sort of racing games at the moment has been showing a lot of ability and a lot of speed. These are two guys that are not going to be easy to beat. I reckon they're always going to be there or thereabouts. Now, Steve, I mean, you were K-Slay's teammate last season, and I paired up with RMS Maranello a few times as he reserved with me. I mean, what would you say about K-Slay?
K-Slay, what I would say is when he's happy with his car, he could be absolutely completely unbeatable. He's got to have it set right, but also he needs a little bit of luck because he can get frustrated from time to time, and he just needs to keep, his calm. But as a pairing, I can see these not just troubling the drivers, but the constructors. They could be number one in the constructors for me.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie James, Overdye, King, Temp, Fear, all of those guys have sort of, and a couple of the other guys have hinted on sort of both of these guys. So it's kind of, I mean, the question we had from YouTube earlier was, why are we surprised that people think these guys? We're not surprised. We're really not. We know this is one of those pairings that it's like, people are going to have to really take these guys seriously, because when they're on it, they are really, really on it. I mean, the opportunities of winning in the World Championship in Season 7 are either going to become extremely hard or become extremely open. Now, I believe K-Slay has joined us in the chat party. How are you this evening, K-Slay?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad.
I'll just say at this point that RMS Maranello is showing us offline, so I don't know if he's going to be available.
Okay, so it looks like it'll be all down to Caseley then. I do know that sometimes RMS Maranello can be busy in the week with work. So over to Caseley then. Caseley, we'll start off with both for yourself and RMS Maranello. It's a new challenge in the World Championship this season. How do you think you'll both get on?
Tough to say at the minute. Not race competitive in a race yet, but he was quick in his reserve drives. I didn't use assist in the World Series anyway, so I think we'll be alright.
Nottingham confidence, that right there. Oh, I think we'll be alright. I think we'll be alright. That means, yeah, watch out, guys. Okay. Could you please let everybody know what the team name will be for yourself and RMS Maranello for the upcoming season?
It will be Lunatic Assassin Racing.
Now that's an interesting. Where's that come from?
That was all Maranello, nothing to do with me.
That says a lot about RMS Maranello. Okay, so yeah, okay. If that was nothing to do with you, what team name would you have gone for?
Well, I don't know. I was happy with it, just purely because it made me laugh.
Fair enough. Fair
the
enough.
most random thing, so I went with it.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting name, although I hope both of you realise that if you end up crashing into another car and writing them off, it's all going to come down to the name.
Yeah,
Exactly. Okay, just to let you know, the cars that have already been selected are Ferrari, that's already been chosen, Mercedes has already gone, the Red Bull has already gone, let's see what else, the McLaren, that's gone.
Jesus.
The Williams, that's gone.
He's not racing this season.
No, he's not. He still plays for Man City though. Navas, for anyone that didn't get that. Okay, the Force India has gone, which unfortunately makes things a little bit tricky for yourself and RMS Maranello. I mean, would you like to take us through what your 1 to 5 picks were?
I believe it was Ferrari, Williams, McLaren, Red Bull, Force India.
Nearly right. Ferrari, that's gone. McLaren was number 2, that's gone. Williams number 3, that's gone. Red Bull number 4, that's gone. Force India number 5, that's gone. Now, we have got a 6th and 7th choice from yourself and RMS Maranello. If you wanted to change it at this point, you could, but if you would like to confirm what your team or the car you'll be using for Season 7 will be.
I can't remember the 6th choice. Sorry, you're looking at me now.
Steve, I'll hand over to you for that one.
Okay, the 6th choice car was actually your choice, because obviously you both chose a car each.
I know, I remember.
6th and 7th. Yeah, go on then. What was it?
It is the Renault.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
No.
Oh,
Quality.
You said Haas, and RMS Maranello said Renault.
Okay, that's it then. Fine.
Well, if you want it to be the Renault, that's your choice.
Yeah, I mean,
at this point, you can go with the Renault if you want to. Renault or Haas, it's up to you.
Oh, that's pressure, that is.
It is. Well, just to add a spanner into the works, there is still, there's the Sauber, the Manor, the Haas, the Renault. Those 4 are all still available.
Now, would you like me to confirm 100% who it was that said what car out of those 2?
I said Haas, he said Renault.
Right.
Is that correct?
We shall find out. We shall find out.
Oliver. Right, hang on, the message goes, Kendall picks Benetton and Jaguar. And then you said, I'll go with the Haas, Oliver can choose the other one, and he chose the Renault.
Okay.
Oh, let's go Haas. We'll go Haas.
Okay, that's brightened up my day. That has. Oh dear. Well, I suppose technically, if Kendall did say the Benetton, it did kind of used to be a Renault, so I can see where the confusion came from. Well, that's the timer going, but considering that RMS Maranello hasn't joined us, we can carry on for a few moments. So we'll confirm then that K-Slay and RMS Maranello will be racing in the Haas as the Lunatic Assassin Racing Team. Okay. Steve, we've got any more questions that we want to ask Kendall? I mean, I'm interested to know whether you think wins are a possibility. Do you think RMS Maranello is going to get wins? And do you think there's half a chance of going for a title?
I think we'll both be up there. But as I said before, obviously we're just not raced yet, so obviously some games suit people more than others. Some people get quicker, some people get slower, so we'll see where we are in a few weeks, but yeah, I think we'll be competitive at least.
Who do you feel will be your main rival this season?
Well, I had an idea of who would be the favourite before, and I think that would be Mr. Hamilton 44.
So you're going to want him as your rival, that's the one you're going to aim for. I suppose if you feel that he's going to go for the title, that's the one you've got to aim at.
Yeah, you've got to obviously beat the best to win, so I think he'll be the guy.
Yeah. Well, I totally
agree with you.
This is shaping up to be one hell of a season with the drivers that are on the grid. Okay, K-Slay, we're going to bring it to an end with myself. I was still giggling to myself about, I picked Renault. So, yeah, we're going to bring this to an end. So, K-Slay, thank you very much for joining us and taking on the responsibility of the team there. And good luck to both yourself and your teammate for the upcoming season. Very much looking forward to seeing how you guys get on. And quite a few of the other teams are quite interested to see how you guys get on as well. So good luck and thank you for joining us.
Cheers, fellas. Such a bit.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Renault. I hope he heard that just before he left then and he's giggling to himself now. Okay, so just to confirm then, K-Slay and RMS Maranello will be racing in the Haas as Lunatic Assassin Racing. And the next team to join us will be two new drivers into the World Championship for the following season. That's going to be W Butler 86 and Adam 4600. Now, Adam 4600 raced in the World Series last season, and we're aware that he had some connection issues last season, shall we say. However, in the off season we have helped him, we've worked out a few issues and that has improved, and he wanted the challenge as well of taking on the no assist. W Butler was in the FRR days last season, which was basically what WCR and WSR is now, using assists, but in the off season he's been involved in a few of the test sessions with assists off, and he's kind of liked it from what we've heard. So the opportunity has become available for him to take a seat in the World Championship. So as we wait then for W Butler and Adam 4600 to join us, I'm going to quickly recap what cars have already been picked so far. So Jamie James 16 and over Dyking, team name of GG Well Played, they'll be driving the Ferrari. Temp Fear and Stocky, team name of Fearless Trailblazers, will be driving the Mercedes. Dan Evs 85 and Mr Hamilton 44 will be racing under the team name of Danish Dragons. It's quite interesting that Danish Dragons driving a Red Bull.
I read that though as Danish Dragons.
Danish Dragons. I'd not noticed that before. Now I'm not going to be able to read it any other way. Okay, then we've got Bartman 2112 and Hammer Time racing under the name of the Underdogs. They'll be driving the McLaren, and in the McLaren they will be the Underdogs. GT5 King 786 and Mornay 77 hashtag Team Banter. They'll be driving the Williams. I think that might be the second time Mornay's driving a Williams. I think he was driving it a season or two ago. I might be wrong. But for a GT5, for GT5 King, I think it might be the first time in the Williams. Killer Cork and JD and Duofin, Moving Chicane Racing, will be driving the Force India. Lunatic Assassin Racing, that's Casely 1, and RMS Maranello will be driving the Haas, which doesn't leave the last two teams many choices of car, but I have seen that Butler has joined us. Go on, Steve.
Just a quick comment. I now realise where RMS Maranello got the name from, Lunatic Assassin.
Go on then.
One of them's a lunatic and the other one's an assassin.
Is that why RMS Maranello's not here today? He's doing a bit of...
I'm not going to say... I'm not saying who's who.
I'll tell you what, actually, Casely has been playing a lot of Hitman recently. So maybe Maranello's the lunatic. Okay, I do believe W. Butler has joined us in the studio. Will, how are you this evening?
Hey guys, I'm all good. Thank you for asking.
Good. Nice to hear you. I think
just
go on.
Adam 4600 isn't showing us online, so he may not join us.
Okay, so looks like Will's going to be the only representative of the team for this show at the moment. I think the last time we spoke, Will, was when we did commentary at Bathurst, was it not?
I believe so. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, so did I. Very interesting race. Anyway, that was on a different game, but anyway, we'll focus back to F1. I was mentioning just before you came in, Will, that in the off season you'd done a few of the test sessions with assists off and kind of realised, hey, you know what, this might be for me. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came about?
It wasn't really planned, but like you said, there was a few off-season tests which I didn't think I'd ever be invited to, which had no assists. And yes, essentially the pace took me by surprise as much as anybody else. So it was just a general inquiry, are there any seats left? And I got the response saying yes there are. So here we are.
Okay, so you paired up with Adam 4600, obviously someone that you may have seen driving in the World Series. Was it a case of, I've heard of him, I'll pick him as my teammate, whereas the other two, I'm not sure, I don't know if I've heard of those yet?
Essentially, yeah, it was a bit of a hasty arrangement, but I haven't got a problem with that at all.
Yeah. Okay, would you like to let us know what the team name will be for yourself and Adam for Season 7?
The team name will be A2W Racing.
I could ask the question, so where's that come from then? But I think that's... Go on, tell us, how did that name come about?
Be honest with the answer.
For those, it was Adam's idea actually, but for those of a simple nature, A stands for Adam, W stands for Will, which is me, and A2W Racing.
Simple. Very simple, yeah. Okay, car choice. We'll go on to the car choice now. Obviously, a lot of cars have already been picked.
Before you go on to any further, Will, have you been listening to the live stream?
My connection has been a little bit dodgy, so I haven't quite listened to all of it. But
so you don't know what cars have already gone then?
I'm aware of the top 5 have gone. So Mercedes, Ferrari, Williams, Red Bull, and Force India.
Okay.
So are you? Go on, sorry, Dave. Go on, carry on.
Carry on. It's all right.
I was going to say, are you expecting to be able to have one of the cars in your top 5 with you being the 8th team to pick?
I think one of our top 5 is still available.
Ooh.
I think you might be right. Would you like to tell us what your top 5 were?
First one was Renault.
Ding, 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 ding! You are the winner! That's an available car. Would you like to confirm the Renault as the car you'll be driving in for Season 7?
I would.
Okay.
There we go.
I can't find... There we go. Renault. So...
I'm actually surprised that a team quite far down the order has actually got their first pick.
Yeah, I tell you what, something I'm quite interested in there is, was Renault the first pick because you were so far down the order, or was Renault the first pick because that was the car that you two really wanted?
Well, we both came up with our top 5. And,
I remember this.
Renault was sort of about... I don't think I said Renault, I can't remember. Yeah, I did. Renault was my 5th choice, and it was Adam's 3rd choice.
It was the only car on both lists.
Oh, right.
The two lists could have not been any different, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Here we are.
So,
Okay, well, yeah, it is fate. I mean, you've ended up being the 8th team to pick, and in an unconventional way of getting to a number 1 pick, and you've got your number 1 pick. So the Renault, do you think it'll be an interesting car to drive?
Well, I drive with the Lotus stable sort of the last couple of seasons, so I presume that's obviously the the son of the Lotus team. So I don't think it would be too much of an issue personally for me. Can't speak for Adam though.
Okay, well, I mean, it will be an interesting season for the both of you. Obviously, coming into the no assist side of Front Row Racing. So, what do you think yours and Adam's aims will be for the season ahead?
I think it would be just to adjust to racing without the assist, of course. But I think points are very much possible.
I like it. Steve, any comments from yourself?
Yeah.
Any questions, queries?
I've never actually spoken to Will before, so nice to speak to you. Obviously, I hope to speak to you during World Championship broadcast, maybe hopefully on the podium from time to time. But realistically, on the average race, whereabouts do you think you say points, but where do you feel you're going to slot in at, from 1 to 19?
I'll take.
There's the timer. That timer's really annoying.
In a sort of overall points position, I'd take about 10th. I mean, the top 10 could be possible. I mean, as long as we regularly attend races and stay consistent, I don't think. I mean, we're going to be realistic. I don't think we're going to win races. There's some incredibly talented drivers in this league, so let's be realistic. I think points are possible.
I mean, sorry, go on.
No, you first.
I was going to say, one of the comments on YouTube's just come in, keeping it on the track and points are easily possible this coming season, and that is a very, very good point. I mean, they also say going slower could well possibly be better. I mean, this is the thing, keeping it on the track, it is going to be a very, very key factor. The only other thing I would add is, I mean, Will, looking at the current driver list of who's in the World Championship, is there anyone that sort of stands out on that list to you as being, right, that's the guy I'm going to try and beat? If I can be quicker than that guy, I can look further up. Is there anyone that's kind of standing out as a name that is your first target?
A couple of names that have stood out for me looking at the drivers list would be the 2 drivers from Team Banter.
Oh, there's a rivalry.
I've raced against them for years, even before Front Row Racing. So, if I could beat them, I would take that.
The challenge has been set. # Team Banter. Be ready for
I'm
it.
making a note. I'm making a note of that one. Rivals Team Banter.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, you said race wins might be difficult to come by and that kind of stuff. Getting that high up the grid. Who would your money be on in taking the title?
Well, having raced against him in the FRR Friday series, I can't look past Mr. Hamilton 44. Because when he's on the money, he's unbeatable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like Mayweather, isn't he? When he's in the money, he's really in the money. Okay.
But promise we're not as arrogant, but yeah.
yeah. Thankfully not. I don't think any of us would be able to cope if there was. Okay, so that's Will Butler and his teammate Adam 4600, who's not been able to join us this evening. They'll be racing under the team name of A2W Racing in their first pit car, which was probably their 4th and 5th pit car, but anyway, it will be the Renault for those guys. They'll be easy to spot. They'll be the cars that are being chased by loads of bugs and flies on a sunny day. Any final comments from yourself there, Steve, or any final comments from yourself there, Will?
Not from me.
No, thanks for inviting me on. and I'm looking forward to this season.
You're very welcome. Good luck. I hope you have a fantastic season, and we are looking intensely now as to see how the rivalry goes between A2W Racing and Team Banter. That team name may have to change to A2W Beating Team Banter Racing, but we'll have to see about that one. Okay, Will, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck. That leaves us with only the one team left.
It does, and I can just say at the moment, on the one team that we've got left, there is one player that is not showing online. He has sent me a message, so I'm just have a little...
Okay, you have a read of that. Okay, so the last team to choose their car is going to be Tinahan and F1 Roadrunner. Now, obviously, a lot of cars have already been picked. I think the only cars that are left available are... I think it's the Toro Rosso, the Sauber, and the Manor. So not many choices for these drivers to go for, but we'll see what their choices were and what their team name is in a few moments' time. Now, Tinahan is very, very new to front row racing, has joined in quite a few of the test sessions and shown to have some good on-track awareness. And F1 Roadrunner is a driver that has been involved in front row racing for just over a season, I think now. Managed to get a reserve drive in both WS and WC last season. So it'd be interesting to see how these two, as a brand new pairing, two guys that probably don't really know each other too well, get on as a team, but also get on the racetrack.
Okay, the message I had was, I didn't quite understand some of it, but he's going to be joining us tomorrow, but that's a bit late for his car choice. I think what he means is he's going to join the test session tomorrow.
Oh, right, okay.
That's Tinahan, by the way. So I'm sending an invite to F1 Roadrunner and Tinahan, and if he's available to join us for the car selection, that's great. If not, then we'll see him on track tomorrow.
Okay, so as we wait then for F1 Roadrunner, I will have one last recap. Well, I'd say one last, we'll do it again afterwards, all the teams are confirmed. A quick run through the teams. Good game, well played. Ferrari, that'll be Jamie James and Overdyking. Fearless Trailblazers, Mercedes, that'll be Temp Fear and Stocky. Danish Dragons, that'll be in the Red Bull, Dan Evs and Mr. Hamilton 44. The Underdogs, McLaren, Bartman 2112, and it's hammer time. Team Banter, Williams, GT5 King and Mornay 77. Moving Chicane Racing Force India, that's a slightly long name. Killer Corkin and Duo Finn. And then Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas. Oh, we're going to say that name wrong. That'll be K Slay and RMS Maranello. A2W Racing Renault, that one's got a nice ring to it. That'll be W Butler and Adam 4600. Which leaves us with Tinahan, who unfortunately isn't with us at the moment, and F1 Roadrunner, who has just joined us. Tarek, how are you this evening? I was waiting for Steve to say good, he's just gone quiet. We're great.
I was waiting for you to say good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
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 Right.
Should we get this one going?
Yeah.
Okay, Tarek, the World Championship is going to be a new challenge for yourself and your teammate, but would you like to let everybody know what your team name is going to be? Okay, just in case anybody struggled to hear that, the team name is going to be the Prancing Reds. Now, unfortunately, the Ferrari has gone, so I'm guessing the Prancing Reds was something to do with Ferrari, so unfortunately, you're not going to be able to have that name with a Ferrari. Now, I would say, would you like to let us know what your car selection list was? But to be honest, I think we ended up having to ask you for a full list of teams, just in case. So, instead, I'll say, is it a little frustrating that well, quite a few of your top picks have already been chosen. True. It doesn't change it for a few of the teams though. It's like, no, I'm having this car. I need to have this car. For example, Charlie from the World Series, he's not happy if he's not in a McLaren. Although with Jenson Button not racing in F1 next season, he may have lost his love for McLaren. I'll tell you what we will do actually. Tarek, if you've got a list of what your car selection was, if you could go through it, and if not, Steve can go through it. If you'd like to let us know what your order of choice was. I don't know about that, but the name of Prancing Reds was Ferrari #1, Steve.
It was number 1. I'm not going to say what cars are available and what cars are not. I'm just going to read through the list. So Ferrari was number 1, Mercedes was number 2, Red Bull was number 3, Toro Rosso was 4, Haas 5, Renault 6, Force India 7, Manor 8 and Sauber 9. And on that list there are 3 cars that have not been picked yet.
Okay. Now looking at that list, your 4th pick car is the first car that is available to you. That was the Toro Rosso. Would you like to confirm that as the car you will use to race, or would you like to pick what's the other one? The Manor, which was your 8th pick, or the Sauber, which was your 9th pick? Okay. Now, I suppose in a way that kind of still works. The Prancing Reds in the Scuderia Toro Rosso, it's still got a Ferrari connection.
Can I make a suggestion at this point?
Yep.
Tarek, would you like to just change your name slightly to the Prancing Rosso?
Ooh.
I think that would have much more of a ring to it, and it would make sense. There we go, done.
The joy of having being the only one that attends is you get to make the executive decision. So that team name will change to the Prancing Rosso. Cheers for that one, Steve. I've now got some extra work to do.
No problem.
Okay, so Tinahan and F1 Roadrunner will be taking to the track then in the Toro Rosso under the team name of the Prancing Rosso. The Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso, that is going to become such a tongue twister. Cheers, Steve, for that one. We'll leave you to come up say that name on race days. Okay, Tarek, we're going to focus a little bit more now on yourself and what your hopes, goals, how you think you're going to get on in the World Championship. So, having been offered the opportunity to race in the World Championship, do you see yourself as being able to be competitive, top 3s, top 5s, or I don't know, mate, is it looking like it could be a challenge? Why don't you let us know so the viewers can have an insight into what your thoughts are going into Season 7? Some interesting comments there. Now, I'm not sure if people are struggling to hear you or not, but if you'd just like to quickly check whether you've got your party settings set to always allow. And if anyone didn't hear what Tarek was just saying there, he was saying that he has raced in a number of other leagues and he's been keeping an eye on the guys that they're in this practice session now. And his driving style is more sort of based on setups, being consistent and things like that. Targets looking at getting into the points, possibly trying to fight towards top 5 finishes mid-season, podiums towards the end of the season, which I think if you're able to do could put you in for a fantastic view of the season, really. Now, I mean, is there anything? Something we've not asked any of the teams yet, so I'll ask yourself. Being able to have the choice of 3 different tyres, do you think that's something will help you with your driving style, or is it something that could make races very, very exciting?
First of all, it will make racing very exciting. Second of all, I tend to be soft on tires and not going aggressive, going into corners.
Yeah.
So I like to save my tires, try to extend stints. So yes, tire choice would be key in this game especially, and it's not about a 1-1 setup going left, right cambers, etc. It won't work. It worked before in this game, in this simulation. It will never work. That's for sure. So managing your tires is important. Strategy is important. Finishing the race is more important.
Very important indeed. Okay, last question that I'll put to you, and then we'll see if Steve got any more comments, is having seen probably quite a few of these drivers race last season in the World Championship or the World Series or even in the FRR Days events that we had last season, is there anyone that perhaps stands out to you as a potential title winner?
Mr. Hamilton 44.
If I had a penny for every time someone said that name, I'd be halfway to buying an old-fashioned penny chew. So yeah, Mr. Hamilton 44, it's a name that's popped up a lot. Okay.
Here.
Oh, Temp, you got to mention.
Because I was just watching at Tempford doing outlap in practice, and man, this guy can drive.
Yeah, he is pretty quick. I don't like to praise him very often, he'll get a big head, but I mean, to be fair, he is the reigning World Championship champion, which means you've obviously done something right. Okay, Steve, I'll hand over to you. Anything you want to
ask? I was just going to say, yeah, well, it's not really ask, it's something more of something I can see happening at the start of the season, and what I can see is a great strategy battle from Tarek here, along with our other favourite strategy guy of Duo Finn. I think it's going to be interesting, these two, how they deal with the tyres, because they're both going to have similar driving styles.
Very, very true. Is there anyone, Tarek, I said that would be my last question, I'll pop in with another one now. Is there anyone, Tarek, that you have perhaps looked at on the grid and thought, okay, that's got to be my first target. My first target is to beat this person. Is there anyone that sort of jumped out at you as though, as that person, that's the guy I want to beat to begin with?
No, I'd like to see the first race finish, and then I could put my first goal.
Well, that's a fair...
Because in previous versions of this series, the F1 2015, you can't compare with this one. So we got to see the first race, how it ends. And based on that, we can put some goals.
Definitely. I mean, even then, I think what happens at the first race could be very, very different to what happens at the second and third, because as Tarek said there, the games are very, very different. Steve, any final comments?
No, I'm done, thank you.
Okay, so Tarek, thank you very much for joining us and giving your insight there. So just to confirm then, Tina Hun and F1 Roadrunner, they will be taken to the track in the Toro Rosso under the team name of the Prancing Rosso. So we've got the Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso locking out the grid except for one car, which we'll get to in a few moments' time. So Tarek, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck for the upcoming season. Hopefully yourself and your new teammate will be able to put on one hell of a show for us.
Thank you, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Tarek.
See you later.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. Thank you very much. Okay, I just hinted there on locking out the grid with all the car selections except for one car. And that is because what we're doing in front row racing for the World Championship and the World Series is there's 9 teams, which brings us to 18 cars on the track. There will be 1 extra car allowed on the track, which will be an FRR Admins Pick Rookie. Effectively, that'll be a driver from either the World Championship Reserves, well, for the WC it'll be from the World Championship Reserves, which will be picked by the FRR admins as having a reserve drive in an admin's car for each of the race, like for one guy at Australia, perhaps another driver at the next race, and so on. Now, I came up with a team name for that car last night, although Steve wanted to give it something else, but I want to go with this team name because I like it, but we'll let Steve argue it. Now, I was thinking that perhaps we could use the Manor. That is a car that hasn't been selected by any of the teams to be used, so we can have the Manor as the FRR Admins Pick Rookie. And the name I came up with for that particular car was the FRR Chewbacca Rookie. Yeah. I know it's dodgy. I did want to take the rookie bit off it, but I thought if I don't, people might not know what that car's all about. But we may change the name on that one. But just having it as FRR Admins Pick would be a little bit boring, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's growing on me. Chewbacca Rookie is growing on me.
Yeah. Okay, so the Manor will probably be the FRR Admins Pick Rookie car that'll be used for the one reserve driver that'll make up the 19th car on the grid. The remaining 3 places in World Championship and World Series will be taken up by broadcaster, host and co-commentary. So that will then fill up the grid. Okay, final confirmation then. Steve, I tell you what, if you want to take us through the teams and their team names and what car they're going to be in for the final time on this particular show.
Okay, so starting off with GG Well Played of Jamie James and Overdykink, they will be in the Ferrari. Then we've got Fearless Trailblazers of Stocky and Tempfear in the Mercedes. We've got Danish Dragons of Dan Evs and Mr Hamilton 44 in the Red Bull. The Underdogs of Bartman and Hammer Time in the McLaren. Team and Banter of GT5 King and Mornay in the Williams. And then it's Moving Chicane Racing of Killer Cork and JD, Joey Finn in the Force India. Lunatic Assassin Racing of K Slate and RMS Maranello in the say it correctly, Steve.
Yeah, spit it out.
Haas. Yeah, Haas. Alright, then it's the A to W Racing of Adam 4600 and W Butler in the Renault.
Yep.
The Renault. And their rivals will be Team Banter. Then we've got the Prancing Rosso of F1 Roadrunner and Tinahan in the... Hang on a minute. No, I was saying it right. The Prancing Rosso of F1 Roadrunner and Tinahan in the Toro Rosso. Yes, there we go.
That was such a bad idea to suggest that last little name change,
that's why I said it.
Yeah. Okay, and then the admin's rookie car will more than likely be the Manor, and we'll give that a team name. And then the Sauber, a car that was literally not picked at any point. I mean, even the Manor was on at least one of the team's top 5. The Sauber not picked at all. That'll basically be the broadcast and host car, so that'll be a car that is not racing around. Okay, so that effectively then concludes the Formula Racing World Championship car selection for Season 7, which has probably taken quite some time now. We did try and limit it to 5 minutes per team, but obviously it doesn't always work that way. Okay, a little bit of information. Tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m, will be the version of this show for the World Series. So World Series drivers, make sure you make yourselves available tomorrow, and then we'll be able to go through the Formula Racing World Series car selections for the teams, which I think could be just as an interesting selection as the World Championship has been today. Some fantastic team pairings that are going to have some fantastic rivalries on the track, and Temp Fear, the reigning World Championship champion, as many of the teams have mentioned, could have quite a few challenges to hold on to his title for Season 7. So Steve, any parting words of wisdom?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, don't wee into the wind.
Oh dear. I think we'll stop you there. Right, okay. So that does conclude the show then. So I say, join us tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. for the World Series, and we'll see what cars they're going to choose. This has been from our Racing World Championship car selection. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all soon.
And goodbye.
Although actually, before I go, I just have realised we didn't get to speak to Dan Evs.
Oh, should we try and get him?
Go on then, see if we can get him, because he did come in as we were interviewing a couple of the guys. We'll see if he's there for.
He's online. He is online.
Let's see. I very nearly forgot about him there. So Dan Evs, teammate.
He is here.
Okay, Dan Evs, teammate, Mr. Hamilton 44. Dan Evs joins us in the chat party. Just a reminder, you are live, so try not to swear. So from the Danish side of the garage, we've got Dan Evs. How are you, Dan? He said hello. I asked him how he was. He said nothing. All right, okay. Well, hopefully you got your microphone set to allow it to be shared. We very, very nearly ended the... so Dan hasn't got his microphone set to be shared. So come on, Dan, you'll get it sorted. I'm going to start this timer on you. Okay, so as I mentioned, Dan Evs pairing up with Mr. Hamilton 44. We heard from Mr. Hamilton 44 earlier on in the show. Racing under the team name Danish Dragons in the Red Bull. Dan, I don't know if you heard the car selection has been picked at the time, but it is the Red Bull that you guys have ended up being in. So we don't need to go through a car selection process with you, but instead, something that I will mention is, as it sounds very, very windy in Dan's living room, is that in a few of the test sessions you've been showing to have quite a bit of pace. Do you think you could be a contender for the title this season?
It's not something I'm looking at the moment, mate. It's still too early in the season. We haven't even got going yet.
That is true, but come on, there's got to be a little bit of confidence there if you're showing a bit of pace.
I feel wheel users are going to be better off on the pads.
Oh.
The first one to bring the subject up.
Yeah.
I feel the pads may struggle slightly.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting season regardless of whether people are on wheels, pads, in helicopters or whatever. Either way, it could be an interesting season going forward. Now, obviously, Dan teamed up with Temp Fear last season, teamed up this season with RMS Maranello. Any thoughts on... Sorry, not RMS Maranello, Mr. Hamilton 44. Any thoughts on the new teammate and how working together might go?
It should go well, mate. Hopefully we'll be able to practice hard, work hard together. And I've already partnered one world champion, mate. And I believe Mr. Hamilton is very fast.
Okay, do you think it could be a case then of you helping him helping you, or you're both helping each other so you both improve?
We'll work together, mate.
Well, they do say down in Wales, together stronger.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm surprised even I remembered that.
It takes two people to lift a sheep.
Definite.
Oh my god. This show is suddenly dropped off a Welsh cliff. Okay. So, obviously, sounds like Dan is impressed by what he sees from his teammate and what his teammate may be capable of. And to be honest, Dan, I mean, if you two are able to work together, it could help bring you into contention for podiums, race victories. Anything could happen in Season 7 when we get going. Now, I mentioned that the car choice... the car choice has already been picked. Let's see, what was your guys' initial selections? I mean, Mercedes. You're a fan of the Mercedes, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously Mr. Hamilton 44 was a fan of the Mercedes. But obviously that car has already gone. So the Red Bull, was that a top pick of yours, a top pick of his? How did the Red Bull come about?
It's just the Red Bull, isn't it? Everybody wants to drive it.
Ooh.
It's just something... It was a good car to use. If you look at the Williams is an awful car to use in this game. It's not the fastest, and it's well off on equal terms. The Red Bull has short gear ratios as well, which should help around some of the tight, twisty tracks.
Fair, that'd be interesting. I'm just having a quick look. I mean, the Red Bull does feature on most teams' sort of top 10 list. Obviously, the Mercedes does as well. So obviously, it is kind of a popular car. A few people have said they don't like how it sounds, but it'll be interesting to see how yourself and Mr. Hamilton 44 get on when the season does get going. Steve, any reasonable comments or questions you want to ask Dan?
Last season, you were Constructors' Champion.
Hang on, no he wasn't.
Was he not?
No. Come on, Constructors' Champion was Mode Red, Mana Marussia.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about them.
Yeah, Constructors' Champions was Mode Red, Mana Marussia, which was myself, Kev187, with the help of RMS Maranello. Oh, the timer's going off for me.
Okay.
But because myself and Kev are not racing this season, so we don't get. So hang on a moment, but still.
Would you be in the top?
Go on, answer. Go on.
Would you be in the top team currently? Actually, they're not, are they?
No, they're not. No, I was waiting for you to finish that. No, they're not, because the team of Jamie James and Over Dyking were ahead of the Mercedes last season, which is why they got first pick. I don't know, it's definitely getting too late for you, Steve. Do you want to try asking that question to Dan again?
Dan, do you think you can go two better this season and get the Constructors' Championship?
Oh, I don't know, mate. There's some good teams out there. And
where do you think,
seems fast as well.
Where do you think you and your teammate are likely to be towards the end of the season in the Constructors' standings?
We aim to be number one, mate.
Realistically, is that where you think you'll be?
We want to push. And
whatever
happens.
Here's one for you. Which team do you think will be the biggest challenger?
Casey and Maranello.
Interesting call. Okay, the timer has gone off a moment ago, so we're going to have to bring this to a quick end. I mean, we're lucky we remembered about you, Dan, to be honest. We're about to shut the stream down, remembered that we'd not spoke to you yet. So we will bring this to an end. So, Dan, thank you very much for joining us, giving us your comments there. And as I've already said, Season 7 in Front Row Racing is looking to be one hell of a challenge for all of the drivers. It's going to be very interesting to see how the race go, who comes out on top, how the teams work together, and how the constructors' standings pan out as well. it's definitely going to be worth watching. So from all of us here at Front Row Racing, Dan, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck to you and your teammate for the season in your Red Bull. Steve, thank you very much for joining us. Cheers, Dan. Steve, thank you very much for joining us on this car selection live stream, and thank you to all of the drivers for taking part, giving us their car selections. I know it's something they've been wanting to get done for quite a while, and obviously for the World Championship they've now finally been able to do it. And as I've already said about 20 times, tomorrow night 7:30 p.m. will be the time for the World Series drivers to make their car selections. So for all of us, go on.
One last thing. Important post going out this weekend. Important for the drivers to catch their eyes on that. So yeah, important post going out this weekend.
Yes, that there will be. Okay, thank you everyone. This has been the Front Row Racing World Championship Car Selection Live. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.
Goodbye.